Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 13 of the Leading the Standard podcast. Today, Jackie is back and she, as always, has some great stories to share. We are talking about embracing change, applying knowledge, and achieving active wisdom in your career. Now, I've gone in completely blind this week, and I'm glad that I did because there's some really interesting insights, something for everyone, the wisdom of the young and old. So hang around and join us for edition 13 of Leading the Standard. We actually have a really exciting episode today entitled Embracing Change, Applying Knowledge, and Achieving Active Wisdom in Your Career. Now, as much as we would love to hear all about Jackie's Balinese travels, we are on a schedule today. I'm sure she'll throw in a few cheeky references and nuances along the way, as we do. But today we are going to cover 5 key topics. These are active wisdom, static experience, stagnant knowledge, passive knowledge, and the active wisdom quadrant model. This will be interesting. Now, I'll admit it does sound a little bit wishy-washy at the moment, but I have seen the resources that have been prepared for this one. I've heard around the office that this is a really interesting topic. So I'm going in blind today because I want to ask some really curly questions. And I'm going to hand straight over to you, Jackie, to start with today's episode.
Thank you. I was actually really excited about this one. I think when I wrote it, I spoke to Melissa about it. It's all coming back to me now because, it sort of unraveled as I was, I always start off with my story first and then it sort of unravels into something. And this one unraveled into something amazing, I have to say. I was very impressed with what we did. It is the active wisdom quadrant model, and that was the 4 sections of the quadrant: the active wisdom, the static experience, the stagnant knowledge, and the passive knowledge. And I'll go into those a bit more. But the story or the incident or the Zoom that sort of got me thinking about this was one, might have been, 6 weeks ago now. I have a weekly Zoom with a lovely lady, Caitlin Merrin. She's from Merrin Co. She's an international ISO consultant. I have been working with her since 2019, an amazing powerhouse young woman. And I say international now because when I first started working with her, it was just local, but she has now moved to Canada and she's expanded Canada, US, Australia. She is amazing. So when I first started working with Caitlin in 2019, she had actually completed a lead auditor IMS, Integrated Management Systems course. I'm going to say it, with another training provider.
Don't say it. No. She learned the error of her ways. Caitlin, thought you were.
And Caitlin's actually going to be a guest, I think the end of August, early September. Yep. So you will all get to meet her. She came looking for more after she Exactly. She needed more. She did her training elsewhere. She'd, I suppose, dipped her toe in the water and thought, this is something that I can do. I want to do it. But she needed more than what the other training offered. So at that stage, I was also toying with the idea of becoming a career growth strategist in this space. And I thought, this is beneficial for both of us. So I have been working with her for 5 years. So, the early days, this is how boring it was. Not really, it wasn't for Caitlin. But all she wanted to know was more about what the clauses meant in the standards. So probably for the first 6 months, if she picked a clause, she really wanted to understand, and I just, I just started talking about it, and she was madly taking notes, because she really wanted to know it in depth for her clients. And then we also talked about her business and how to get clients. She's also amazing at attracting the right clients. So over the years, I've been working with her to help her to grow her business. So I'm the mentor. And about 6 weeks ago, something happened. I don't know, I was in a weird headspace. I was maybe a bit down in the dumps or something. We have become great friends over these 5 years. I know Kelly knows this. When I first met Caitlin, she's like a mini Jackie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, she's like 20 or more so years younger than me, but we just clicked. Yeah, honestly,
you think that your mother and daughter, if you saw you together.
No,
same hair, same. Yeah, they are the same person, just a few.
She's just a sponge, and she's amazing. So, and that's not,
Caitlin's great, Jackie.
That sounds a bit weird, but I suppose we just clicked and we got on really well. So we have shared a lot professionally and personally over the years. And, we've grown and changed together. And this particular Zoom, I think I was having some business challenges and, I was a bit down. And so I was sharing with her. And she was she listened to me. And then she offered, her thoughts, on what I should do, or what it wasn't what I should do, but what I should consider. And as we were talking, I've got goosebumps. As we were talking, it was like, oh, yeah, she's actually right. She actually made me look at things in a completely different way. I sort of was focused on some negative stuff, and when you whatever you focus on, and she pulled me back out of that and really made me think about the challenge differently. And I can remember I charged over the office and went, oh my God, this is it. She flipped it. And at the end of the Zoom, I actually said this to her. What do they say, Kelly? The
wasn't there, sorry.
No, it's a saying. The student has become the master.
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Very Karate Kid of you.
Yeah, and really, I only watch Karate Kid because Lee, my husband, watches it. There's lots of that going on. But and I actually said this to her, the student has become the master, and I was so grateful to her. And that's where I had this amazing light bulb moment that I'm no longer the mentor. We are equals. We are equals that meet every week, and we share where we're at, our challenges, and hopefully we can help each other now. Like it's
mentor, mentee to peer.
Yes. And because she's grown so much. And as I said, she's like 25 years younger, 24 years younger than me. So I could be her mother. I think her mum is my age, maybe a bit younger. But, it's become this relationship, this respectful relationship. And that made me think about, well, how grateful I am that I can be open to her helping me and seeing the light and taking on board what she shared with me. And that's when I started sort of investigating this sort of thing. It's not like it's new or anything, but weirdly enough, I think it was that night, I've been reading a book, a HBR book. I love Harvard Business Review articles and books. And there's a book called Changing Your Career, which is very relevant to, how I help people with moving into the ISO world in many different career options. And believe it or not, when I was reading, I think it was that night or the next day or something like that, there was something in there that was referring to reverse mentoring.
Mm.
And I thought, oh, what's this? What's this reverse mentoring? So that's exactly what I describe, because normally when you think of a mentor, it's an older person. So for me, I've had mentors throughout my career. So when I was younger, and I still have those. I can think of two people that I'm still in contact with, and they have been my mentors all the way through my ISO career. Oh, I just thought of a third one. And they're all older. Okay. One in particular has trouble I need to choose my words carefully here, has trouble accepting that now that I'm a big girl, like 20 odd years later, that's how long I've known my main mentor, has trouble accepting that I might actually know something and I have some ideas. And it's very, very frustrating for me as the younger person. Okay, and we'll talk about that sort of stagnant knowledge and static experience a bit later. And that's why when I read in this HBR book about reverse mentoring, I thought, oh my goodness, this is a thing. Like, I could even talk about you, Kelly. Like, we've been working together for 9 years. There's, I don't know, a 15-year age gap. Obviously, Kelly's older than me. No.
Yeah. Tell you what, this morning I really feel it this morning.
So, Kelly has been amazing from day one.
Thanks.
But that's why she's been here for 9 years. But I do learn so much from Kelly. Kelly is amazing. We do training together and the stuff she does is amazing. So as, that older person that, was in a mentor position, you really do need to open yourself up and listen to someone younger. I just thought of something else. This is what I do. I have a 29-year-old and a 21-year-old. Not so much the 29-year-old. I'll leave him out of the equation for now. But my 21-year-old, he's 22 this year. If I have, and this is not outside of work. Well, no, sometimes it isn't. It's more maybe a cultural thing or a personal thing.
Oh my God, I feel old now. I can relate to this.
Yes, and you would be the same because you have a son the same age. And I hear myself say something and I think, oh, did I just say that, because I'm 56? It's like, is that something that I picked up from my mum and dad? And I thought, oh, how am I thinking about, is this right? And I think, I'm going to go and ask Isaac. So when Isaac gets home, I say, okay, this is what happened today. This is what I thought instantly. He goes, oh, Mum. And then he just says what he thinks, and it's so basic and easy. And I went, oh my God. I can't think of an example, but I only did it recently. It's like, can I have your opinion on this? How, as a 21-year-old, do you see this? And I know I've spoken to Melissa about this, that works with us as our admin support. Her kids are younger.
Young too.
Yeah, they're even younger. But Melissa, she learns off them. Yeah. She's staying open-minded so that she can learn from them. She doesn't want to sort of be that person that, shuts down. And we'll talk about that with the Quadrant. So
Yeah.
it was
Scary when you
really
realise you
enlightening.
need that though. Like in my head, and I'm sure Melissa's saying, we're still young. And then like the year we were born was not as long ago as the radio keeps telling us this song is now X years old. It's not. 1980 was last week. But I'm not that old. I'm younger than 1980. But there does come a time where you start to think those things like, oh, hang on, is that relevant in today's society? My son Bailey is the opposite of Isaac. Well, actually, not really. He will straight out just tell me, Mum, you're a boomer, total boomer. And it terrifies me. But
Yeah.
there's things that I'm still young, but I'm starting to get to that age where there are new things that I'm like, 6 months or 12 years ago, I would have just gone, done. Now they scare me, or I've got to, there is a tipping point, I think.
You're right. I think, there's that point where we do, as we get older, have to keep our minds open.
Mm. And the world is changing so much faster now than it was 5, 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And then the opposite is true. Talking to Isaac, he gets frustrated that older people don't listen to his thoughts. He just, he said, people think I'm just, a stupid 21-year-old. It's again, it depends on the person, obviously. That's why I said, let's leave out my 29-year-old, but love him to bits. But, it's, on both as a mentor, as an older mentor, it's time to really embrace this reverse mentoring. Okay. And that's where we coined this term active wisdom. And I loved it. I fell in love with that name. I went, oh my God, it's active wisdom. So, and as we said, it goes both ways, respect for our younger mentors, open our minds. So
Age
do you want me to? Sorry?
Age is a number. Different people have different experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know many 20-something, a lot of Bailey's friends, if I bumped into them, didn't know their age, didn't see their face, I'd think they were much older than what they are because they have experienced a lot in their lives and are.
But they look at things differently, Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, we may not always agree, but I like getting a different perspective because, of course, if I talk to Lee, my husband, normally we might have similar opinions. Not really.
We don't in our house.
But it's still because of our age and the influence from our older parents as we grew up and so on. So, I just love hearing, Isaac's just basic, simple, no, this is how I look at it, Mum.
Yeah, uncomplicated, open-minded thoughts.
You're right. Yeah. And uncomplicated, open-minded thoughts. Well, and as the older person, we also need to be open-minded. Yeah. And I suppose this all relates to, and obviously in this context, our professional careers, but you can see how it filters into our personal lives as well, this active wisdom. Okay. Would you like me to move on?
Yeah. Look, we've got great stories. I'm keen to hear more.
Okay. So what I'll do is explain each piece of the quadrant. So as Kelly explained before, there's 4 areas of the quadrant. You can actually see the quadrant in our Lead the Standard article number 60 on LinkedIn.
Check, yes, 60.
Number 60. There's actually a visual of the quadrant, which sort of helps visually, of course. So there's active wisdom, there's static experience, there's stagnant knowledge, and there's passive knowledge. Okay. And the combination of each quadrant has an output. Okay. So I'll go through each of them. So the first quadrant is active wisdom, and that's a combination of continual learning and practical application. So I'll say that again. Continual learning and practical application means you have this active wisdom, because learning is one thing and then applying it's another, isn't it? So with active wisdom, we are continually seeking new knowledge and we apply it practically. I don't know about you, Kelly, but for one, I love learning new things. Both my boys laugh because I love homework. I love projects, but the only way or the best way that I learn is I need to do it.
Yep. You missed us the other week. This is exactly what Matt and I were talking about. Sometimes you hate learning, but it's probably because you're not learning the way that you are getting the advantage from. And a lot of us, we need to do it. So
Yes.
We talked about this while you're away, but I have to do as well. I have to, reading is not my mojo. I'm not like you. I did not like homework, but if you
really
practical activity,
I love homework.
Yeah, no, I am a doer. If you,
yeah. So I suppose that combination of continual learning and actively seeking learning and practical application, like actively seeking practical application, and how it applies to what you do daily as well, that ensures that you're not only, I suppose, current or up to date in your field or anywhere, but you're able to implement it as well. So with that continual learning, it keeps you up to date with the latest. Let's just talk about ISO. What's going on in the ISO world? What's the changes? Follow people in the industry. There's a few people I love reading their posts on LinkedIn. I learn so much because they have their own twist to it. I know the standards back to front, but when someone comes at it from a different angle, I think, oh, wow, that's awesome. So then I can...
Perfect example yesterday in our virtual training again. We had a couple of students, again, we've got these scenarios, different active or same scenario, different thought trains. But again, when they shared it, you could see light bulbs going off with other students on the screen. Oh, okay, I can see how you came to that now. They had their decision, but now they're... Yeah.
So I suppose that active wisdom quadrant is, where we want to be. This is where we want to head with that seeking continual learning and then applying it practically in your own world. It has to be relevant, I guess.
Yeah. I think it comes down to one of our other favorite things is being curious. I might not be an active reader. I might not love reading, but if something piques my interest, I do want to go find out more about it and how I can use it. Yeah. So again, it's that being curious.
Absolutely.
Funny how curiosity. Look.
I love that word. It pops up all the time. So that's a quadrant we ideally want to be in. And obviously with that active wisdom, that's where that reverse mentoring comes in as well. So, being open-minded and learning, from a different perspective. Yeah. Then the next quadrant, sort of going backwards, I think, is static experience. I'm going clockwise, but so I've gone the ideal. That's where we want to head. The next level is static experience. So that's a combination of practical application. So we still have that practical application, but there's this resistance to change. There's this little, no, this is the way I've always done it. Why do I have,
Yeah.
I know.
Arms folded. Yeah, I'm not happy about we've always done it this way. Yeah.
Yes.
Did it work?
I know.
Has it always worked for you this way?
I don't think I'm one to say that. I know sometimes I have resistance to change if it scares me.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a different thing, I think. There's, I'm uncomfortable with this because it's unknown to me. And there's, I've always done it this way. This is my thing. This is my rules. But I think there's two different things there. And if you are resistant to change through fear or uncertainty, then at least there is, and look, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead or stepping on your toes here, but there's a way out. If someone gives you more information or shares with you the benefits of this, if you're scared or uncertain, you can be informed, assisted, educated to, okay, this is not scary anymore. Oh, okay, I see the benefit. But if it's steadfast, we've always done it this way, that's not a healthy resistance.
No, they could be saying that to hide their fear.
Hide their fear? Yeah. In which case you could change their mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I created a document. I have always done it this way. That's red flags. Yeah. Yeah.
And look, I suppose it is all about fear, because I know, sometimes you make me do things I don't want to do.
I do that a lot.
And I know initially, and I, even maybe with this podcast, sometimes I just push back and it's really, and then I have to have a talk to myself and go, okay, why are you pushing back? It's a good idea. And it's normally because I'm scared, because it's something new. I don't know how to do it. It's, and we've talked about,
you had tried before and hadn't followed through. It hadn't worked as you'd planned. So you had that additional fear of been there, done that, didn't work, and don't want to go there again.
Yeah.
But it was just
so that
time and the place and the medium and the message.
But then in that instance, that's where with the support of other people, you can actually do it.
Yeah.
I suppose it is different if you're on your own, but if you're open to other people helping you, it's, we're up to number 13 and we're just here having a chat.
And people are only hearing and seeing us, but we know that there's other people in the background now doing all of the admin and the tech stuff, and later the video editing. It's not just us, it's a team effort.
No, that's right. We've got people that know more.
Yeah.
That are supporting us. So, if you're in this static experience stage, like you've got this existing knowledge and you're applying it, on a regular basis. And this probably describes what I was saying, how sometimes I push back because of fear. But then if something new comes up, you resist, like adopting those new ideas or methods, because the other way was always comfortable. It's that comfort zone as well. It's like, oh, why do I have to do this? It's scary. What if I muck it up and make a mistake? So when you're in this static experience quadrant, well, as it says, you're static. You've got your world of experience. I'm not denying you that. But you're at risk of not moving forward and staying up to date with changes within your industry, within life, wherever you're applying this. So you can't grow. Yeah. So that's that static experience. So I'm working through each. You might be able to figure out where you're at. And as I said, active wisdom, that's where you need to be. Mostly I'm in active wisdom, I have to say. But as I've admitted, sometimes I'm in that static experience quadrant when I'm really challenged with something new. I do tend to push back a little bit. Until I've had a good talk to myself.
Or bounce it off someone else.
Yeah. And I do need time to process things.
Yeah, we had a great example of that a couple of weeks ago. Someone said, shared some information, and I had a full conniption, and I went and vented, and then I had a coffee, and then I sat and I wrote down a little pros and cons. And it was something that I couldn't, like my gut and my heart said, you can't say no. But there was all of this means this, and this means this, and this means this, and I've got to change this. And oh my God, like the selfish part came in because I was panicking about what does this mean for me? But then that sit down, that process, that, okay, figure things out, have time to plan, and then everything is fine, everyone.
Yeah.
Everything works out in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes you do just need time, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten her name. I feel terrible. Everything is figure-outable.
Oh yeah. Folio.
Oh yes.
Maria
Folio. Oh, I'm so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is figure-outable. She is amazing.
Yeah. No, I remember you reading her book years ago. Actually.
Yeah. See, I don't read people. I read her book.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Great. Yes.
So that is the 2 quadrants.
Yep.
The next one is stagnant knowledge. So that's a combination of that resistance to change again and a lack of engagement. So now this is bad.
I can think of a number of people who I have worked with over the years who straight away pop into my mind as...
Oh, really?
Yeah, in this space. None of them here at ATOL. I think there's people... Of course not. No, but everyone at ATOL that's come and gone has come because there's different things or better things, or they've grown or changed.
Yeah, which is what we support.
Yeah.
So,
But I know that I can think of in previous jobs where people were like, no, I'm here to do my job. I'm not going to do it any other way. I'm just going to sit here. Don't you tell me. And I'm going to sit here for the next 40 years.
Yeah. So, I suppose this is a place we don't want to be in, and if someone is in this space, there might be other things going on, and, they might need other support as well. We do need to be aware of that. But this stagnant knowledge comes around when they don't engage with new learning opportunities. They don't want to learn anything. Oh my God, I can't imagine a world without learning something new and doing other courses and doing homework. And it also means that they're not even applying what they do know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
existing in that space.
Yes, they're really disengaged, uninspired.
And there could be many reasons for that.
I know, right. And that's what I said.
Personal, it could be professional. Yeah.
Yes. If you're in this space, we do have to have an understanding there might be other things going on. But this is sort of compounds both of those areas, that lack of engagement and resistance to change. They're just as this quadrant says, stagnant. Okay, so that's sort of where we don't want to be. If you do know someone in that space, maybe be open to understanding what's going on elsewhere and support them. So the final quadrant is passive knowledge. So that is a combination, again, of that lack of engagement. So still lack of engagement with, I suppose, application more so, but it's got the continual learning. We're sort of coming out a little bit. So passive knowledge is when a person is still committed to learning new things, but they fail to apply it. And this could be, and I come across this a lot with people that are moving into, say, an ISO career, and say they might have done some of our training around auditing and ISO management systems, but then they think they have to do all of these other courses that really aren't relevant to where they're moving into. They just want to keep doing course after course. Oh, when I get this course, I'll be right. I'll get more clients. When I get this course, but unless they start to apply what they've already learned in the first place, they won't understand truly what they need to learn and add on to move their career forward.
Yeah. Which is, again, one of the students this week from yesterday's virtual training. Last week, she had an idea of what she wanted to do. She wanted to add another course on. But it wasn't until we had the discussion with her and learnt more about what she was actually doing and what her goals were that we went, well, that's a waste of your time and energy. Don't do that. Focus on your passion, your strengths, apply it. Yeah, exactly.
Apply it, because it's great. Sorry.
I know many people who have got hundreds of letters after their name, but they cannot function in the workplace because they've got all of this knowledge and all of this academic experience, but no practical real world.
It's all theory.
On the street stuff. Yeah, it's all theory.
Yeah.
And we see that sometimes with some students who have that background as well. They can understand it and they push back because this is how I've learnt before, and you guys, you haven't taught me that way. But we're showing you in a practical sense, and they're not used to learning it in that application phase.
Yeah. And that's a big thing here. It's like, without participation or application, that knowledge that they've learnt just remains, it's a theory. They know it, they've read it. That's why I like actually books. I read a lot of books that have activities. So I read it and then I do it because it helps me to apply it in my world. That's where I come up with some great ideas. So, you turn that theory into something. So rather than just, maybe I'm doing ATOL out of selling more courses or saying this. Whoops. But, do what you actually need first. Yeah. Apply it. And when you apply it, then you'll understand what you actually need to do. I do the same thing. I did it recently. I put as one of my goals is I'll do, I don't know, and I did my research. You can do sort of a career development coach course. I thought, I'll do that. But then when I started looking into it, I thought, no, I don't think that's right. Like, I specialize in a certain industry. I know that process. There's other short courses I found that are more, like AI and, just smaller, more practical things that, students have actually asked me. And I thought, you know what? I think I'm actually better off doing that. Like LinkedIn profiles, how to update your LinkedIn profile. Like I'm better off doing these short courses to help me to help my clients rather than this overarching big thing that I don't actually need. I thought I needed to maybe prove to people that I know what I'm talking about. I don't, how your brain's a bit crazy sometimes.
You wanted all the letters so you looked like you were smart.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I would say with this one, if you find that yourself, and again, I've just admitted I've ended up in here, but I've recognized it when I started doing some research. I thought, no, it's probably, a Jackie issue here. What I really need to do is this. So, really, ask yourself why are you doing this? Is it really necessary? And as I said, I get asked this question all the time by my clients. Oh, but if I just do this and this and this, no, you've got enough just with the courses you've done with us to get started and apply it.
Yeah. And then decide next steps.
Exactly.
Is it even what you're looking at? Is it for you in the first place?
Exactly. Exactly. So I suppose, Kelly, there's a balance, isn't there? Because we're spruiking this continual learning, but we're also saying, particularly in this passive knowledge, yes, it's continual learning, but you need to be able to apply it. So if you're doing all of these courses and you're not applying it, maybe rethink, just stop for a bit, look at what you've already learned and start applying it first. And then the world will open up and you'll really understand what your next step is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the 15 Aussies sitting on the Olympic medal tally right now with gold medals did not go and read the rule book for the sport they were playing and just turn up in Paris this week and get a medal around their neck. They read, learned, applied, and applied and learned and read. So, you don't win gold by just reading and sitting.
No, that's right. Exactly. So they're the 4 quadrants we went through. Active wisdom, which is a combination of continual learning and practical application. There's static experience, which is a combination of practical application, again, and resistance to change, pushback. Stagnant knowledge is a place we don't want to be in, and that's a combination of that resistance to change, again, and a lack of engagement. So coming from both areas. And then that passive knowledge, which we just touched on, which was that lack of engagement or application, but they still sort of like learning, which is fantastic. I love that about you if you're here, but just make sure that you're applying it. So I think that covers everything. I'm really excited about this. I think we actually have a super download for this as well from memory. The link should be in maybe we could put a link to that in the podcast.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Make sure that
because there's an amazing download that you can like a workbook that goes along with this topic. So you can really explore. See where you sit. But as we discovered, I've sort of admitted, I have sat in about 3 of those quadrants. A large percentage is sitting in active wisdom, but sometimes I can get static experience and passive knowledge as well. So
I feel the same. You kind of rotate around depending on the topics, the situation, those sorts of things. Yeah. You might be in multiple quadrants at the same time for different things.
Absolutely. And the thing is just to recognize it. Yeah.
Can't move forward without acknowledgement.
No. Thank you. Have I talked enough?
You've always talked wonderfully. And look, no barley analogies. But I am going to open up the floor to our community now. So again, as always, if you are tuning in live, catching up later, please do join the conversation. I have a question here already for you, Jackie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How can I identify if I'm stuck in a static experience in my career, and what steps should I take to move forward towards active wisdom?
I sort of talked about that experience with me recently. Well, just before, sorry, my leg got caught up in something and I didn't want to trip over.
Just to acknowledge, Jackie is still broken. She's just relaxing it at the moment.
Yeah, it was actually the strap off my sling. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to fall. I would have gone off screen. Sorry. And that's why I was doing one thing with the bottom. Okay, back to the question.
Maybe to repeat it.
Back to the question. So, how can I identify if you're stuck in a static experience? So that static experience is that you're applying your current experience. Like you've got years of experience, you're applying it regularly, but when something new comes along, you go, and I use the example, we've always done it this way. But for me, I suppose it's recognizing it. And I shared this before. For me, I find myself pushing back. So what I'm saying is some self-awareness, please.
Yeah.
If you're pushing back, then, and Kelly might recognize this in me too. It goes both ways. If you're working with someone and you feel they're pushing back,
yeah,
you also need to be aware, well, this is why. There's some fear there. Okay, there's lack of knowledge. They're scared about something. So you need to support them. But if you're the one pushing back and going, I'm being all negative, which is what I can do if there's something new. It's like, oh no, like, oh no, I've got to learn something different. It's scary. I might muck it up. You'll recognize it. And so at that point, stop, be open, maybe go back to what sort of started this whole conversation, that reverse mentoring. Really just say, why am I doing this? Like, yeah, why am I, resisting this? Go and ask someone, even say it to the person that's pushing you. Why? And they'll, as Kelly said earlier, uncomplicated, keeping it simple. It's sort of, real light bulb moments. And I do think the download helps too, that Melissa put together, that goes hand in hand with this, the Leader Standard newsletter, number 60. You can complete that as well. But I don't know if you can add anything to that question, Kelly, but to me, it's self-awareness.
Yeah, that's where I was leading as well. If you're aware, and we've talked a lot the last few weeks about seeking feedback and being aware, is being self-aware in general, understanding your learning style, understanding your personal behaviors. And I think having an awareness of yourself overall, you'll understand why you're pushing back. But also, if you find that you're pushing back, not just look, what am I doing? You could ask straight out, look, what more information can you see?
Yes.
Sort of expand on that further, because I know normally when Jackie's pushing back, it's something with technology or something that she hasn't seen before, or we're already doing that in one space and it's working well, good enough, but I can see how we can do that better. And do we have the time, etc., resources? So if you feel someone pushing back, give them, as Jackie said, be aware of that, but also help them to understand, give them the tools, give them the information. What more do you need from me to help you understand, make this decision, move forward? Because even you, as self-aware as you can be, you might still not understand that yourself. You might have all of the reasons that you're unsure on the table, but it could simply be because you don't know the answers, but you don't know which questions to ask to get those answers.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. And that other person's perspective.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers that question.
I think it does. And I do have another cracking one as well.
Oh, okay.
This one, I like this one. There's a few here that we could
Well, you might be able to answer it then.
There you go. Oh, yeah. What strategies can I use to ensure that my continual learning efforts are effectively applied in my daily work? Test and learn. I'm going to quote the great Jackie Stapleton, test and learn. We've been doing a lot of change, like we talk about every week, and making sure that, look, apply that knowledge, take note of what didn't work, have someone else, as we just said there, have someone else buy in, let them have a test and a learn. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. You haven't failed, you've given it a go. But you have learned that doesn't work in this situation or for me. So the only way that you can ensure that your continual learning efforts are effectively applied is to test them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's that continual improvement, isn't it? And I mentioned before, I enjoy reading, and every time I read, I actually have a notebook as well, because it gives me ideas. And then I go, oh, let's try this. But exactly what you said, Kelly, normally the first idea I have doesn't work. But how do I know that unless I try it?
Yeah, and evolve it.
Yeah, that's right. So that's application. Give it a go in that first format that you think, and then you improve it from there. So don't be afraid. Yeah, just to apply it, do it, give it a go. And obviously, if you're learning something that you're unable to apply in your daily work, why are you doing that? Yeah. And that sort of goes back to that passive knowledge. Just be careful about what you're learning. Of course, unless you're changing careers or something like that. But always get yourself an opportunity to apply it. I say to a lot of people that may not be internal auditors already, and they're working for a business, and they can't apply what they've learned as an internal auditor because there's no internal audit team there. I said, well, can't you just form one yourself? Like, the business doesn't have to be certified. You can, in your own time, create a relevant internal audit schedule, in your own time, conduct a few short internal audits, practice what you've learned. I've seen that time and time again.
I don't know too many employers, managers, bosses who are going to say, no, you can't start an internal audit team to help improve our business.
Exactly.
How dare you? I can only see the benefits of that.
Exactly. So come up with a way to apply this new knowledge. Yeah. Thank you.
Let's go. Awesome. Well, I don't have any other questions today, Jackie. Those are the ones that have been shared from our community members. So thank you to them. I am going to wrap up today's episode. Again, we talked about embracing change, applying knowledge, and achieving active wisdom in your career. So we hope you found that discussion valuable. Next week, we are discussing another brand new topic: stop pushing and start pulling, a balanced approach to leadership in ISO management systems. Again, I can see how this applies to a lot of things, not just in ISO management world. But as always, we love hearing from you. So questions, feedback, leave them in the comments, the chat, etc., and feel free to reach out to us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us with a review of today's episode. So thank you, everybody. Until next time, we will leave you there. Thank you. Welcome back, Jackie.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us once again as we lead the standard. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast for more episodes just like this. And don't forget to leave a review if you found today's episode informative and inspiring. If you're already an ATOL student, remember participating in live Q&A sessions just like this is one of the exclusive perks of your enrolment. And if you're not already a student, join us at our website, www.auditortrainingonline.com, to learn more about our courses and how you can start making a difference in your career in ISO management system standards. So join us again next week as we not just meet the standards, but we lead them.